Hello, welcome to a post-Independence Day of SouthernDistillingNews.com reviews. I just wanted to say that happy Independence Day. If you had a good one, hopefully you're not suffering from a hangover by Wednesday, because this is when it's supposed to air. So what we're reviewing today is Palm Ridge Reserve. So Palm Ridge Reserve is in a small town called Umatilla, Florida. I hope I'm not butchering that name. What they make is a regular whiskey, which is their Palm Ridge Reserve, and then they also make a rye whiskey, which is their Palm Ridge Reserve rye. So the ABV on this is 45, and ABV on this is 50. So it's a really nice, savory couple whiskeys. So the thing is that the mash bill on the rye is undisclosed, but you can kind of figure it's 70% rye from the mash bill. On the regular one, the mash bill is an unproportioned, but it's corn, malted barley, rye, and a milled rye. So, actually toasted flake rye, but the proportions are undisclosed. So that's these two that we have. And this is a very, very small micro batch distillery. They make about 500 bottles a year of each. And also what it is that they actually age their whiskey in small barrels, like 5-gallon barrels. So it's very, very rare for someone to make that sort of transition and age their liquor and then actually get something palatable out of it, because sometimes this ends up being a massive goo. That the 5-gallon barrels, they're very, very finicky. They can age things very, very quickly. So they sent me a couple samples, so I just wanted to try it with you. Let's start with the regular whiskey. So we've got that, and this, I've poured myself a shot of that. Let's do some nosings on it. So the nice thing out of this, I'm getting some apricot, some orange is the other thing that I'm getting. And then also we're getting definitely some of the caramel, which you get from an aged whiskey. So it's very, very nice. It seems like very, very smooth. This is a very, very smooth whiskey. I'm going to try a little bit of it. So this is very smooth. And then the other thing that we do is we usually swirl it around, take a look at the legs, but the legs are very, very liquid. They go down right away. So this is a very, very smooth whiskey. There's very, very little burn as it goes down. I'm getting taste of dried fruit, some citrus, some toasted from the char. On the back end there may be some cinnamon and definitely some vanilla. So those are all combining to make a really, really nice sweet whiskey that goes down. It's not overly sweet, but it definitely is one of the more savory ones that is out there. So, but it's an excellent whiskey. So, and we're gonna go from that and we're gonna try out the rye. So the rye, again, like I said, this is a 70% rye mash bill, but the thing is that from what I've tasted before, it's not too peppery. It doesn't have that big pepper aftertaste and that sort of thing. And it's very, very mellow. It's almost like a Highlands whiskey that's out there, because it's got that high rye content. So let's do a little bit of nose. So the nose on this one, I'm picking up a lot of chocolate. I mean, there's definitely some oak in there. So, but I mean, again, the legs on this, you can see the viscosity is very, very low, because it just trickles right down into the glass. All right, so this has some Highland malt kind of flavor, but it's not overwhelming. It's kind of, you can really taste the rye that's in here. It does have some peppery finish on the back end, but it's not strong at all. Again, we're picking up toffee and we're picking up some of the allspice, the pepper that's on the back end. But an excellent drink to have for guests. As you can see, I took this to a party and offered people to sample it, and they really liked it, and they were disappointed that I was leaving with it, and I said I have to review this for the next day, so that's always good. That's a good response from people when you get that. But these two are excellent whiskeys. So what this also was, the whiskey was included in Jim Murray's 2015 Whiskey Bible. It got a 94.5 in that. So it's definitely something you should try to find and seek out. And they're probably available online. I know they sell some of these online, but if you're ever down in Florida, it would be definitely something to see if you can get your hands on for an excellent whiskey. So let's try a drink. So we're gonna put these aside for now, and then we're gonna do a little bit of a shot of this. So what I'm gonna make is what's called an opening. So this is a rye whiskey drink. So I'm gonna use my remainder here. So it's 2 ounces of rye. So that's 2 shots. So I'm gonna use my remainder of this because I had about a shot in there. I don't wanna pour it through the strain top, but I put some ice in the shaker. So the opening is 1 of these. And then again, this is the rye whiskey. We're gonna use the rye. Do 2 of those. So now what you've got is we're going to add some sweet vermouth. This will temper down the rye and kind of give it a little bit less of the peppery taste here. So I'm going to reach behind me and get the sweet vermouth. That goes in the glass. All right. And so here's what we're going to do here. So we're going to have 1 ounce of grenadine. All right. So we're going to add that. All right. So now we've got all of our flavors mixed together. I'm going to put these back. Again, it's 2 ounces of rye, 1 ounce of sweet vermouth, and 1 ounce of grenadine. You're supposed to garnish it with a cherry, but I am fresh out from the 4th of July festivities, so I do not have any, unfortunately. But, in your home bar, please, remember to stock those cherries. They come in very handy. So this is, again, called an opening. So shake it up there. I have the ice in there. It makes it a nice, cool drink. I'm going to pour it into here. Comes out nice and red due to the grenadine. Hopefully that wasn't too loud into the microphone. So cheers. Again, an opening. Oh, that's very good. So this is probably, for people who do not like to drink very strong whiskeys, an ideal drink. This is the grenadine really tempers it down, the sweet vermouth. So if you want a whiskey cocktail you can serve at your party, definitely look for an opening online and check it out. So again, this is Chris Melke reviewing Palm Ridge Reserve rye and their regular micro batch whiskey. So thanks again for tuning in, and cheers.